See what he can do in the midst of unbelievers, on the leading edge with his word, his power, his grace, and his mercy. For God's sakes, we're Lutheran. This is what we know.
Wittenberg Project, like, comment, subscribe. So I want to talk about the topic of deconstruction. There's a clip going around of Matt Chandler, this pastor, kind of big in the evangelical realm. And a lot of people are grabbing it, dunking it, you know what I'm saying? They're just going in on it. And I don't get it. To be honest, I don't get it because there was a lot of truth to what he said. The part people, well, disclaimer.
You and I are in a day and age where deconstruction and the turning away from and leaving the faith has become some sort of sexy thing to do. I contend that if you ever experience the grace and mercy of Jesus Christ, actually, that's really impossible to deconstruct from. But if all you ever understand Christianity to be is a moral code, then I totally get it.
So just to be clear with the Matt Chandler thing, the first part of what he said is 100% true. The second part, my issue with that is more so theological in regards to, he's basically preaching the pea and tulip, the preservation of the saints right there. I don't hold the tulip. Not at all. I've never liked that flower at all. You know what I'm saying? So yes, I don't agree with that, but there's nothing to get an uproar about. That's literally one of the foundational beliefs of that system. That's not a unique thing for the Matt Chandler about. If you have a problem with that, you need to join the bandwagon. We can go out here and talk to Calvinists and try to get them on board with something else. And I'll more than welcome you to that team. You know what I'm saying? But you can't get mad at that part. Even though I don't hold it, many other people don't hold it. The premise of what he was talking about was this popular notion now of deconstruct your faith. Deconstruct, which is basically shaking the foundation. And don't get me wrong, people have doubts in the world. Don't get twisted. I know people have doubts and they struggle with their faith. Okay? I really wouldn't call that, I mean, that's a person who needs help. You need to talk to them and guide them, encourage them, and this and that nature. That's not really a healthy deconstruction. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's a person who's contemplating leaving the faith. He's not sure if Jesus really died and rose and died for him and his sins to make him right with the Father. He's not sure about that. There's nothing to deconstruct about that sentence right there. Yo, that's true, bro. Let's talk about it. Other things are deconstructing where you're looking at how things played out, how certain systems or this played out and you don't agree with it. But that foundation has to stay. It has to remain. Pastor Hans Feen said this right here, this tweet. And I totally agree with him. We have to stop using the same terms. You know what I'm saying? Because then things get muddled. Things then get muddled where, oh yeah, it's okay to deconstruct. And all I'm talking about is, look at how the SBC was formed, let's say per se. How they literally wanted to keep slaves to the point they were willing to break fellowship off with other believing saints. That's true, by the way, you know. You can deconstruct like, man, yo, this whole tradition is about that. I'm not sure if that's a primary tenet of fellowship. I don't know if I could rock with that. Like, that has nothing to do with the gospel. Well, in a positive sense, it does actually, because neither Jew nor Greek in this. And you can go on and deconstruct and go, I'd rather call it examine, but since we're talking deconstruction, my voice might be messed up. If it is, I blame Flame and all these guys I hung out with a couple weeks ago. They got my voice shot. I don't know what's going on. There's no sympathy coming from them. They're laughing, talking about welcome to the life of an artist. I'm not an artist. I don't do nothing, you know what I'm saying? But neither here nor there. We have to stop using those terms because that's what people are thinking is okay with it. They're thinking okay with it. They just want to deconstruct and come up with whatever else they want to believe. It's not okay. The part about a person, if they deconstruct and walk away from the faith, they never knew Jesus, I don't subscribe to. But I'm not shocked about it because that's his tradition. That's what Calvinists Reformed per se hold. So to get mad at him about that is ludicrous. It's like, you already knew that. So really, and I also see fellow Calvinists, fellow people who hold that belief going in on that. Yo, you believe that same thing. How are you? So really what you're mad about is he attacked the notion, the first part of what he said. Okay? That deconstruction and walking away from the faith is like a cool trend right now in society. Side note, some people butchering what he said. He's not saying it's cool. He's saying people view it as a cool thing to do. And it's sad to say, it seems like it's true. It seems like it's true. Just go to TikTok. Go to TikTok and hear people talk about it. I mean, like I truly almost felt that people were celebrating John Piper's son going into apostasy from his deconstruction. I truly feel that they were okay with where he ended up at. If that's acceptable under this concept of deconstruction, we got to use a different term. We got to. That shouldn't be an okay result. If the result is to be more biblical, more grounded in the truth, more faithful to the historic faith, the faith once given, okay, let's come with a term for that. So it's not muddled with this crap over here, this trash. Because, I mean, I even saw a lady on Twitter talk about how she left the faith and this and that nature. And she's good friends with a couple other people that I associate with. Pastors, guys who study and this and that. Now, maybe behind the scenes, they talked to her and tried to get her back the truth. I don't know that. What I can assume is I reached out to them, the people she's good with. I'm not that cool with her. I mean, I'm not close with her. We're good. And was like, yo, you see this? Like, I know you guys are close with her. I just wanted to give you a heads up. Maybe you could talk to her and this and that, because leaving the faith, isn't really the thing to do. No reply. Not even a thanks for the heads up. I'm gonna talk to her and this and that. What? Like that blows my mind. What happened to the first Peter path? I mean, not the first Peter, but I think it's first or second Peter. Be ready to give a defense of the faith you hold for the hope you have. What happened to that? When we see someone leaving, they're losing hope. We need to give a defense of that hope. Let them know that, no, this is true. And your life depends on it. We have to understand that deconstructing and self-examination aren't the same thing. Okay? I mean, you might originally view the term as deconstruct. I'm just going to look at the beliefs and tenets of my tradition and myself and make sure they're true and pure. That's okay. That's more so examining. Like, put it this way. A lot of people are looking at the beliefs they held, been taught, and always hold true to make sure that they're accurate to the Bible. That's keeping the foundation. Like, that Christ is the pillar, the apostles and prophets are the foundation. I think it's Ephesians 2:20, 100% biblical, right? You don't shake that. You don't mess with the basic tenets. A lot of the hidden meaning in deconstructing is trying to uproot the foundation, and people are okay with people doing that. I've seen clips. Just do a search, man. Just do a search on deconstruction, and from what I noticed, majority of the context isn't evaluating beliefs above the foundation, like things that aren't considered primary or true to the faith in a sense. It's more so. I saw people say Apostle Paul, Saul, whatever you want to call him. He was the false Christ that Jesus was warning about. Like, are you serious? Are you serious? Like, so Peter, all the apostles, they were fooled. They had no idea. We got Peter mentioning him in his writing, saying some of the stuff he teaches is hard to understand. We have them, okay? But you, 1,500 plus years later, you cracked the code. The author who's contributed majority of the books of the New Testament, you're going to say it's a false teacher. And most people are going to laugh. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I'm not saying it's not. I totally agree with you 100%. I'm glad you feel the same way. But even the notion that this is under this umbrella of what deconstructing is, and people are coming to these conclusions, shows that we have to be able to still stand for truth, even though we want to make sure what we're holding is the historic faith. We still have to make sure that what we're aligning our words to aren't things that are okay with people totally ditching the faith and walking away from the faith. One quick thing. A lot of people that are promoting deconstruction and deconstructing all that type of good stuff, they've already left the faith. Like, literally, they're talking as if they're still holding it or even value it, but they've already left the faith, but they want to give you their 2 cents. And people are gobbling it up as if they care about their well-being or something that they don't even believe no more. Anyhow, back to the show. Like I said, it's ridiculous. I mean, we have to be careful with terms. I mean, I'm seeing Christians say, I deconstructed and I led to this better place in my worship of God. Okay, right? And then they'll follow it up and say, if someone else deconstructs, I'm not really worried about where they end up or where they land. Yo, what? Like, nah. Like, a person, let's say, we have a person, let's say he's Methodist. Let's just say. He's deconstructing, right? He ends up switching over to Pentecostal. Okay. You felt that this was more accurate per biblical, not yourself. I hate that. My truth. No, you felt per biblical standard, this was more accurate. I get it. Same method. Let's say he deconstructs and he ends up Muslim. No, I'm not okay with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I'm not gonna fight, dude. You know what I'm saying? But I can't say no. I'm just gonna leave it alone. No, we're gonna keep talking and examining. We have to be able to understand that deconstruction and just promoting it like it's the thing to do. There's parameters, and you have to be sure you keep that box where, like, no, this is self-examining. This is you looking at your beliefs and tenets and comparing them to the historic faith. That historic faith is there. There's no deconstructing that. That's there. The Bible is the God-breathed, inspired word of God. That right there, you're not about to take a chisel to that. I'm sorry. That just is what it is. Anyhow, thanks for listening. Shout out to the Patreon group. Yo, that helped with various things that we have coming out later on. Anyhow, God bless. Whitmer Project.